The first dog was not born from love. It began with a wolf pup everyone wanted dead. They came down into the valley at the end of autumn, following the deer south, reading the smoke of their own breath in the cold air. The valley was good, deep grass still standing where the wind had not flattened it, water running fast and clear over stones, shelter against the northern cliff walls, deer tracks in the mud at the creek edge, fresh ones, heavy, many. They built fires and ate well for the first time in weeks. Then, on the third night, the eyes appeared. Pairs of them just beyond the firelight, still, watching. The hunters reached for spear, but the shapes did not move. They did not retreat. They simply watched, and then were gone. The thefts started small. A rack of drying meat pulled from a tree in the night, drag marks leading into the dark. The hunters inspected the signs and said nothing they hadn't already known. They were sharing this valley with wolves. A full pack, and the pack had arrived first. The pressure mounted over the following weeks. Hunters tracking deer through the wood would find wolves already there. Not attacking, but pacing through the same ground, driving prey away before a spear could fly. Kills were found stripped on 2 occasions, and the camp perimeter shrank inward as the wolves grew bolder, testing each boundary a little further each night. When a young hunter was nearly pulled down at the water's edge, dragged several feet before the others could drive the animal back, the clan made its decision. The wolves had to be destroyed. They tracked the pack for 3 days into the hills before they found the den, a system of caves and crevices in a rocky bluff above the valley floor. The hunters spread out and went in fast and hard. What followed was brutal and confused. The snow around the den entrance turned dark quickly. The wolves did not break and flee. They fought by the same rules they hunted with, and that was what one hunter noticed. Even in the middle of the chaos, they were not attacking blindly. While the largest animals drew the hunters forward, others circled wide and came in from the flanks. Wolves that seemed to retreat were not fleeing. They were pulling hunters into tighter ground where the pack had the advantage. They communicated nothing in any language the hunter could name, but they moved together, as if they had already planned it. He began calling out their positions to the other men, watching the edges, warning before wolves appeared. His instincts saved lives, but the experience left him unsettled long after the fight was done. The pack was destroyed or scattered. The hunters moved through the den, clearing it out. And deep in a narrow crevice at the back of the cave, the hunter found what the others had missed. A single pup, eyes barely open, trembling, small enough to fit in his cupped hands. He could feel its heartbeat through his palms, fast and faint, as a sparrow's. The others said to kill it. An older hunter, a man who had lost his brother to a pack 3 winters back, stepped forward first. A thin scar ran along his jaw from the same attack. "It will be a wolf by spring," he said. "Kill it now." The hunter said no. Not from pity, from a question that hadn't left him since the fight. How do they do it? How do they move together, without a word? He wanted to understand how wolves think. The pup came back to camp, pressed against the hunter's chest, wrapped in hide, its thin heartbeat steady against his ribs through the whole walk home. The clan allowed it to live under one condition: if it harmed anyone, it died. Nothing about it was easy. The pup feared everything: fire, voices, open air, the smell of humans, sudden movement. It cried at night for the pack that no longer existed. It snapped at hands and hid in shadows and refused food until it was weak with hunger. The hunter kept an enclosure of hides and stone at the edge of camp, and visited it with scraps and softened meat and no sudden movements. Some mornings he arrived to find the ground dug up and the animal pressed into the farthest corner, shaking, its breath making small clouds in the cold air. Weeks passed, then months. The wolf did not become tame, but it became accustomed to the hunter specifically. His scent, his approach, the sound of his breathing. It stopped snapping when he entered the enclosure. Eventually, it would take meat directly from his hand. Everyone else remained a threat. The older hunter, the scarred one, did not stop watching. He said nothing most days, but sometimes, when the wolf paced its enclosure in the firelight or fixed its yellow eyes on a child passing too close, he would speak quietly to whoever stood nearby. "It learns our movements," he said once. "It learns our patterns. You are teaching our enemy where we sleep." Nobody answered him. Nobody dismissed him either. As the wolf grew, and it grew fast, its instincts surfaced harder. Confinement made it dangerous. It dug under barriers, chewed restraints, paced endlessly through the nights. The clan leader warned, "It is not a pup anymore." The hunter changed his approach. Instead of containing the wolf, he began watching it. He allowed it to move under loose observation. The first time it vanished into the tree line, the scarred hunter's voice rose immediately. Gone. And now it knows the valley, the camp, the children's sleeping sounds. He was wrong. The wolf came back before dark. But the hunter heard the fear beneath the anger and did not fully dismiss it. He let the wolf follow hunts anyway, because following seemed to be what it wanted. Over time, the hunter began to notice things. The wolf turned into the wind before prey appeared. It froze before danger showed itself. Its ears and posture told stories the hunter learned to read. And the wolf, in turn, learned to read the hunters, when spears were raised, when the hunt was beginning, where the meat would be. They were not communicating. They were learning each other. Through repetition. The test came in winter. A hunting party tracked deer up into the mountains and got caught in a blizzard. Visibility dropped to nothing. Trails buried. Hunters arguing whether to turn back, their voices swallowed by wind. The scarred hunter grabbed the handler's arm. "We know the way back from here. We do not know where that animal is taking us. We go back." Then the wolf stopped moving. It lifted its nose into the storm and became absolutely still. Then it turned, not toward the valley, not toward safety, but deeper into the mountain, away from every path they knew. "Wrong direction," the scarred hunter said flatly. Several others stopped walking. The hunter pulled his arm free. He had spent months learning the difference between the wolf's confusion and its certainty. The animal was not confused. He followed. Half the party went with him. Half nearly didn't. The wolf led them across a ridge that felt wrong, into a hollow that should have been empty, through snow that came to their thighs. Every man behind the hunter was silent, with the particular silence of someone preparing to admit he had made a fatal mistake. Then the deer were there. 7 of them, sheltered from the storm in a stand of dense pine, in a place no human would have thought to look. The hunt succeeded. They returned to camp with enough meat to outlast the season. That night, as the clan divided the kill, the wolf stayed beyond the firelight, watching both the camp and the dark forest beyond it. The scarred hunter sat across the fire. He said nothing. He did not look away from the animal for a long time. That silence, from that man, meant more than any praise. The clan leader took a cut of meat and threw it toward the wolf. The animal hesitated, then took it. The leader watched quietly for a long moment before speaking. "Find more pups,"